Executive Director, do you have any responses regarding your calling the police, specifically your disparaging comment regarding the public themselves? The implication appears obvious. Elicit a response that would lead to an escalated encounter and in turn my removal from the building one way or another.
It seemed like you were pretty upset at that woman.
No, it didn't seem like that at all. Let's not try to go down the disorderly way. And what did you mean by these people? What people were you referring to?
I don't want to get into
You don't want to? Is it disparaging in nature? Executive Director Reema Griffith attempted to swat me by calling police.
The face covering, were you concerned about COVID or?
Right there. See the sign?
Are they asking people to wear them there?
Face covering is recommended.
Ah, okay.
Behavior's pretty outrageous and dangerous. I think you knew what you were doing, Executive Director. It sounds like you're having a boomer moment that can't allow you to understand how email works with attachment limitations.
I don't.
I'm in the city of Edmonds, Snohomish County, Washington State, going to a Washington State Transportation Commission board meeting. I have had the board commissioners completely unwilling to respond to me regarding the incident at the Washington State Transportation Commission office in back on February 21st, 2024 in Thurston County in Olympia. So I'm heading there right now to seek redress of grievances, to petition the board at the board meeting so that I can let them know what's going on and hopefully get this issue addressed. I was swatted by Executive Director Reema Griffith. At least that's how it came across to me. I got the 911 call audio footage. You guys listened to it on the original story.
2404. Hi, this is not an emergency call, but I'm a state employee in a state office, and we have a suspicious person who's trying to get into our offices.
Okay, what's the address?
Our address is 2404. We're in West Olympia. Just one second, I know my P.O. box, and I don't know my...
Are you the district court?
We're in the same building as District Court, but we're on the second floor, and we're the Washington State Transportation Commission.
Okay, so is it for the whole building, or is it just
No,
for our
he's
office?
specifically trying to get to our... Did he stop ringing the doorbell, Doreen?
Yeah.
We're the Transportation Commission on the second floor of the building, and the building's 2404 Chandler Court Southwest, Suite 270. And he was trying to... The building's secure, and my fault, I accidentally buzzed him in, and he's got a mask on, he's carrying some kind of device, and he wants to get into the building.
Is he in the building? Is he on the second floor?
He was. We're staying away from the door.
Mm-hmm.
He's not ringing the doorbell anymore. I don't know if he's still in the building, but I think he might be. District Court is not here today, so downstairs is empty, and I think our neighbors are not here, so we're kind of the only ones in the building right now.
Okay, he's no longer knocking on the door, but he is somewhere in the building?
I assume so. We're looking at our windows on the second floor, and I don't see...
He was wearing a mask?
Yeah, he was dressed in black, and he had a mask, those gator kind of things you can pull up. And he was carrying some kind of device, whether it was a camera or some kind of equipment, I don't know.
Wearing bandana over face, wearing all black.
Yeah.
And had some kind of mechanical device in hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're assuming he's somewhere in the building, but we're not seeing, we only have access to view the back parking lot, and I don't see him roaming around.
Buzzed into the main building. And he's not showing up on any of the cameras for outside?
We only have the one camera at the door, and he hasn't buzzed us, so we're not seeing anything.
Okay, can I get your last name?
My last name is Griffith.
First name?
Reema, R-E-E-M-A.
R-E-E-M-A?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, phone number?
360-701-7172.
Okay. And, alright.
But we need to get out of the building so much, so that's why I thought I'd better call, because we would feel more comfortable if someone came over to
Okay.
check the building.
Let's see. So you're afraid to leave your office until the
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he wouldn't, we kept asking him what he wanted. He wouldn't specify. He was kind of demanding that he be let in.
Have you filled out a PDR request?
No, that's part of what I'm here for.
Okay.
I'm just looking to get the form, fill it out, and then just hand it right back to you right there.
You take a form now. You can take a form? Okay. I'll take a form now. You have a PDR request form? That's what he wants. Okay.
Now, we're a state office, and he has the right to come in, but wouldn't state his business. And we're not a kind of office where people come to. We don't do services here. So.
Who's that yelling at here?
Oh, there's just people talking in the hallway. Nobody's yelling.
Hey, can I help you? Yeah, if you can help me with this, just trying to get a public records request form.
Okay.
They buzzed me in about 10 minutes ago. I got one from the county board, but I'm having a hard time getting a hold of them. I mean, they buzzed me in, and now it's kind of
weird.
Yeah,
they don't know who you are and didn't know why you're here or anything, and so they.
Well, that's not true. I mean, I literally told them I'm here to get a PDR.
Right, but there's two offices that could have buzzed you in.
Oh, it was definitely them.
All right, at this time, I'm going to let you go. If anything changes before law enforcement arrives, why don't you give us contact back, okay?
You're going to dispatch somebody to come over, though?
I've already sent it off to law enforcement dispatch.
Okay. So when they get to the building, both the front and back door have these security locks. We'll have to buzz them in, so they'll have to just hit a button, and we'll see them on camera. There's a front door entrance and then one on the back side where the parking lot is.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
No problem.
Bye.
So I'm going to go there and check it out. Hi. Looking for the Transportation Commission meeting.
Okay, you can sign in here for the 3rd floor,
Sure.
and then I'll come around and send you
All right, and elevator right there.
Elevator's right there.
Great.
And you're on your way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is the Transportation Committee meeting. Guess so.
Difficulty moving things forward through the centennial process. And so hopefully that's something that will change and it might give this commission an opportunity to come before the tribal leaders and the
Okay, we're now going to move to taking public comment, and we have both in-person and online public comment. So we're going to start with in-person public comment. And do we have anyone signed up? Okay. So I will start by reading the name, and it looks like we just have one person signed up. Public comment needs to be kept to 3 minutes. So we will invite you to come up, state who you are and where you're from, and you'll have 3 minutes to make a comment. Please keep your comments polite and respectful. The microphone is up here. You just have a seat there at the front table.
Sure.
And you're just signed up as Philip
Hoyt
of Inland Auditing
Media. Inland Auditing Media. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Just a second here. All right. Good morning. Appreciate your time. Commissioners, I'm the journalist from Inland Auditing Media that was at the Washington State Transportation Commission in Olympia on February 21st, 2024, working on a story about rude and unprofessional employees being unhelpful with records requests. While attempting to complete a public records request, Executive Director Reema Griffith attempted to swat me by calling police, utilizing what appeared to be, to me, specific language regarding my having possession of an unknown device, just referred to as a device. The implication appears obvious: elicit a response that would lead to an escalated encounter and in turn my removal from the building one way or another. Court marshals and Olympia police did respond, and thankfully cooler heads prevailed from Leo's. But don't take my word for this. I'd like to actually just play here. What happened?
He's got a mask on, he's carrying some kind of device. He wants to get into the building, and he was carrying some kind of device, whether it was a camera or some kind of equipment, I don't know.
So you're afraid to leave your office until...
Yeah. He kept asking him what he wanted. He wouldn't specify. He was kind of demanding that he be let in.
Okay, and you're here with who?
Myself.
Or
Some records issues.
some records issues. Have you filled out a PPR request?
No, that's part of what I'm here for.
So I don't know about any of you, but I was raised to understand that what was just said right there contradicting what was said on 911 and in person as being untruthful. Is this the behavior that the Washington State Transportation Commission condones from its employees, seemingly attempting to swat a journalist just reporting on a newsworthy story? After the event, I reached out to most of you all to see if you all would answer some questions about the incident. The commission completely ignored the inquiry. Left with nothing else other than objective video audio footage, it appears that the perspective of the Board of Commissioners is that you all support this kind of dangerous behavior from government employees. The motive seems simple: avoid embarrassing reporting about the commission. However, the message being sent is that it is okay to endanger the lives of citizen journalists regardless of whether allegations have merit or not. Something particularly poignant in an election year, and not surprising in light of that fact. The media is not going away, and this commission is going to receive a great deal of coverage regarding this developing story. I'd also like to avail myself of any questions if anyone from the commission has those.
Thank you for your comments. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Hoyt?
When did you send out trying to contact us? Because I received nothing from you.
I sent it out towards the latter half of February.
Okay.
I'd be happy to send those back out to you.
No, I really don't want it. But no, I really don't want it. But no, I really don't want it. But I'm just letting you know that I didn't receive anything from you.
Gotcha. Yeah, I sent it out. A couple of those returned. The layout of the email addresses for the commissions, the nomenclature, the standard is pretty clear. I sent those out, but I would like to get a response from those of you I know that did receive the email, because that behavior is pretty outrageous and dangerous. I think you knew what you were doing, Executive Director. It'd be nice if that kind of behavior could not only not occur again, but if the commission could actually speak with your employees and prevent that from happening again in the future.
Thank you for your comments.
Yeah, I don't recall receiving anything either.
Well, what I'll do is I'll resend out those emails so that everybody can get it, and that we can absolutely affirm it's in the public record. So if anybody does records requests in the future, that that'll all be available there for the public and the people to see.
Okay. Do we have other people signed up for public comment? All right, and with that, I'm going to close the meeting. Our next meeting will be May 15th and 16th. It'll be a virtual meeting, and we have a lot of commission business to conduct, so come with your seatbelts on.
Executive Director, do you have any responses regarding your calling the police, specifically or disparaging comment regarding the public themselves when you said, why can't these people just go online to do the records request?
Are you recording right now?
I absolutely am.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
It's on the video that I published in the story that I put out. You said, why can't these people just go online?
That's our legal process. It's on our website.
So are you saying that the Attorney General, Bob Ferguson's advice on his website, that there's 5 modalities people can do public records requests, that one of them doing it in person
You
is
can
not
do
allowed?
it in writing right now, and we've consulted with our Attorney General that represents
Yeah,
that
and so we
office.
can't, so is
So
it
we've
is your
ensured we're
statement that we can't go
compliant.
to that location to do a public records request in person?
It's on our website right now. You can make a request. You can certainly do it right now in writing and hand it to me. I'll be happy to process it.
I'm talking for the people. So if
Yeah.
people that watch this
Yeah, there's
story,
a process, a form they need to fill out. And
can they
it's-
go to the office to do that in person?
They could, sure, certainly.
Okay, and
If
they won't
that's-
be
if
turned away?
that's- No, as long as we have an ahead where you've confirmed that we're there and we're available to do that, we are happy to do that. But it's encouraged to do it through the online process because we run it through WSDOT. They have a process of sorting out public disclosure requests for us.
Okay. But to be clear, people can show up in person and go to that office and do it as long as it's during open hours and that kind
As
of
long
thing.
as we're on the premise.
Gotcha.
And we're
And what
able
did you
to
mean
do
by
that.
these people? What people were you referring to?
I don't want to get into
You don't want to?
interpretation.
Is it disparaging in nature, or
Absolutely not.
you have issues with the press?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so
Talked to the press many times.
what do you mean then by these people?
We
I don't-
have stuff that we still need to do.
Oh, that's fine.
With that, I'm going to close the meeting.
I'm still
So
asking
can
questions.
you go ahead
then.
and count,
No.
finish now?
I'm not
and
going to
we'll-
do that. No, not
Okay.
at all.
Yeah.
Well, we're done.
Thanks.
And-
Okay, and
Excuse me.
why is it that you're uninterested, Commissioner, in actually getting the story? In fact, if you
I have
want
no comment
if you
for
want
you.
the entire,
I have no
if
comment
you want
for
the
you.
entire video, I can get it to you. It seems
Then
it
send
seems
it
like
to me. When you finally send me the information and
Sure.
the email that you said you already did but did not, I'd be more happy to see
so
it.
is it your position that
You
I
never
didn't send
sent
it to you?
No.
Gotcha. So if I had something that showed it rejected going to your email address, you'd want to see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'll do that. And then you're happy to sit down. Would you like to sit down?
No,
Would you
I
be willing
will
to sit
not.
down and watch it together?
No.
Okay, so you're
I don't
uninterested in the
trust
truth?
you at this point.
So even if you have all the video, you would not trust the video. If you had every second, you wouldn't trust it. Is that your position?
I'd have to have it analyzed to make sure that you're not doing
Would you
anything
be
to
willing
it.
to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Send it to me.
it's on. So
Send
you're
it
saying
to
on
me.
behalf of the commission, you'd be
No,
willing
I
to have
didn't
it
say
analyzed?
that. I didn't say that.
So you're going to do it personally?
Sure. Send it to me.
Great, I'll do it. Do you have a business card with like an FTP address or something that I could? How do you
No,
want
I do not.
How do you want it sent? Do you want it mailed maybe
You
like
have my email address. Send it to me.
on a like?
Send
I can
it
send
to
it on a thumb drive.
Send it to me on my email address.
Okay. Do you have an email address that'll accept large files? Because most email accounts won't accept large files.
How many times I have to tell you? Send it to me
It
on my
won't
email.
go through an email address, Commissioner. That's what or through email because
Send
it's
it to
too
my
large of a
email.
file. It's too large of a file.
Okay.
So how do you want it sent then?
To my email.
Okay, it won't send because it's about 8 gigabytes of data and it won't accept attachments larger than 25 megabytes. So are you just trying to use some like
No,
data
send it to-
shenanigans to
send
get out
it-
of this?
No, send it
sounds
to
like
me
you're
on my
just trying to
email.
avoid the problem, Commissioner.
Sounds like you're putting words in my mouth.
No,
Send
it
it to me
sounds
in my
like
email.
you're having a boomer moment that can't
I'm
allow
telling
you
you
to
where to send it.
understand how email works with attachment limitations.
I don't. I don't. I don't. Send it to me through my email.
Sir, are you not understanding how email works? There's attachment limitations. So do you have no alternative? Are you just basically wanting to get away from the truth, sir? Is that the way the commission operates?
No comment.
It seems like based on your behavior and your statements that the commission
Send it
just
to me
simply
in my
wants to-
email. If you don't want to send it to me in my email,
Do you have
and
an
you
email
want to
that
make
accepts 8
excuses,
gigabyte attachments?
sure, go ahead.
What's
try.
the email address that has 8 gigabyte attachments?
You have it.
Sir, we both know that's not the case. You're just trying
No,
to get
I
out
don't.
from under. You're
No,
trying to
I
escape
don't.
the truth. That's what you're trying to do.
Send
here.
it to me in
Why
my
is the
email.
commission trying to hide this underneath? Slide it
Commission's
under a
not.
rug.
Send it to me
You're
in my
trying to
email.
You're trying to use technological.
You need me? Okay.
Any other comments, Commissioner? Any other commissioners have comments?
Excuse me. You want to get out of my space?
I'm not in your space, sir. You're the one that turned around into me. Any other comments, Executive Director?
No, thanks for coming though.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sir, it's an election year. Do you want to maybe put a
I'm
good
not
foot
elected.
forward? You want to put a good foot forward here for the commission? No more comments? All right. Wow, that commissioner not understanding things. Not getting it. He's not understanding the whole email process, that there's a limitation to attachments. He's trying to use that to get out from under having to actually see.
Hello.
Did you need to sign out?
No, I'm actually just going to wait for the commissioners to come on out.
He has left the actual hearing room now. The commission ended their business, and we're all just. He's in the lobby here with waiting for commissioners to leave. He's just asking questions and trying to get to the bottom of whatever issue he has with our executive director. Yeah. I wouldn't say that, no. Yeah. My name is Kelly Fukai. Great, thank you. Yep, I'm just leaving the building now. Thank
Hi
you.
there.
Bye-bye.
How are you doing?
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you.
Good.
Is there anything I can help you with?
No.
I understand you were trying to film a meeting.
Ma'am, do you have any comments about what happened?
I have no comment.
Ma'am, you saw the video. Your executive director attempted to swat me for being a journalist covering his story. Do you call the police in an attempt to have a physical reaction with a journalist, ma'am? Why don't you have any comment? I don't need you.
You don't need me? Okay,
No.
well somebody called. They
She
said
did.
you were refusing to leave.
I was never asked to leave.
You were never asked to
And you
leave.
can't make me leave anyways.
I'm just asking.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so have a good
All
day.
right. Are you taking off?
No, not yet. Do you have
No.
a business card?
Yeah, I can get you that
Cool.
before we get done here.
Right.
So, nobody asked you to leave?
Nobody asked me to leave.
Okay.
Plus, they can't. It's the Open Public Meetings Law.
Okay.
I think you and I both know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I haven't told you to do anything.
Well, I have a history, unfortunately, of the commission attempting to swat me because they don't like stories being covered by the press.
What happened?
Oh, down in Thurston County in Olympia. They didn't want me there working on a story about public records requests, so they lied and made an attempt to seem that I had a bomb, which seemed to be the implication because I had my camera equipment.
Sure.
Obviously not a bomb.
Clearly not an explosive, yeah. Understandable.
So I'm a little irritated that they did that, but I'm honestly just trying to get their response to why the executive director did that.
Sure,
So, yeah.
sure. The face covering, were you concerned about COVID or?
Right there. See the sign?
Are they asking people to wear them there?
Face
Okay.
covering is recommended.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
It's very considerate of you. That was the only reason?
Well, I mean,
You weren't trying to cover your
Sort of
face
says.
at all, just...
I don't know why you'd ask that question. Doesn't matter anyways.
Okay.
You're asking me why I'm wearing my pants.
We're just talking. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, pants are a little more common these days.
There's a ton of people that still wear masks for COVID reasons.
I'm not criticizing it, I was just asking.
Just a ton of people. So.
Okay.
Anyways.
Was there anything else we could help you with?
Well, I didn't need help in the first place. I mean, a business card would be great.
Yeah, I'll give you a business card. It
Cool.
seemed like you were pretty upset at that woman.
No. It didn't
No?
seem like that at all. Let's not try to go down the disorderly way. Let's not try to do that.
I was just asking.
Okay.
I was just asking.
Come on. It's kind of obvious you're trying to go down the disorderly way.
I'm not trying to go down any
You got a business card
type of way. I'm just asking.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's frustrating to see them do that, but I'm not angry.
Frustrating to see them
Call the police on me and attempt to have a physical encounter between me and the police. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have no desire to have that.
You're sure they swatted you?
Yeah, I got the 911 audio tape.
Okay.
She attempted to make it seem like I had a bomb without actually saying that, so that she could,
Sure.
if asked, say, "Oh, I didn't say that."
Sure. I can see why that'd be frustrating.
Yeah, and then lied when she said he didn't state what he was there for. Except for the unfortunate part is I documented every second of my encounter. And
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, and it is clear when I said I'm here for a public records request.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And that didn't. You said that happened down in Thurston County?
Yeah, in Olympia. Yeah, I was down there working
Okay.
on a story about rude public employees at the commission, and then also public records request issues. Some people had some questions. Basically wanting to see what the commission was going to do about what they were covering actually in the meeting today, the I-5 corridor and the trusses and that kind of stuff. And so they went there to see if that was actually what, was going to be addressed, because of course it's an election year for commissioners and they want to see what's going on. So,
Sure.
yeah. So
You were just there to document the proceedings, or?
You mean today?
Both times, actually.
Well, the first time was there to work on the story. It was actually test. I'm an investigative journalist, so
Sure.
the first time down in Thurston was actually just to discover if they had issues with public records requests, which they definitely did have issues with the PRR process.
Right.
And then, of course, I would usually consider it being rude to call the police on somebody trying to do a public records request.
Generally,
the Olympia Police Department was a little confused when they showed up. I mean, you can see the confusion on his face. He's like, why am I here? As a public servant, thank you for helping. I just have no idea why the executive branch of Washington State's acting like a bunch of unhinged lunatics right now.
I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Sure.
So anyways, that's what happened that first time. And then
Okay.
I attempted to get responses from them, but the commission, I think, understanding this to be a very embarrassing story for the commission, especially in an election year,
Sure.
didn't want to respond to emails. So the only way to petition the government to seek redress of grievances at that point is to show up in person.
Sure. Okay. I guess I'm failing to see the connection between there and here.
They're the commissioners for the Washington State Transportation Commission.
Oh, and they were here today?
And they were here having an open meeting
Okay.
today on the third floor.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
I see now why you were a little confused. You're like,
Yeah.
why are you in Edmonds at the city hall? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you would piece that together earlier.
No,
That
no.
totally makes a lot of sense now.
Not yet. No.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
so because they obviously, the state commission does transportation everywhere,
Right.
the whole state.
Yeah.
They move around and have.
That all checks out.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Okay.
I was like, why? That seems like pretty straightforward, but I don't think I probably clearly stated
Sure,
that.
yeah. No, that's all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Were you going to hang around for a bit?
Well, yeah, I'm going to see if I can get any more interviews from the commissioners.
Okay.
So,
Do you tend to have success when you approach people like that, just out of curiosity?
sometimes I do.
It
I
works?
mean, when you pin them down with the information that you have,
Sure.
especially in election years, sometimes, they come out and they're just like, this. What's that?
Change that. We're not elected officials.
Well, hey, look, sir.
We're 7 individual appointed people from the governor's
appointed
office
by the government
and confirmed by the state senate.
That's fine. Confirmed. It's still the same situation. You work for the government. You guys saw what happened. Your executive
Actually, have you read the statute that created our organization in 1951?
Quit trying to filibuster. This is about the executive director attempting to swat me as a journalist when I went there to look into a story.
I watched the video. I didn't. I disagree.
Saying
with
that there's.
I disagree with you.
There's a device. I mean, what was the point of the device?
This is intimidating.
No,
and you
not.
showed up at a secure facility.
A secure facility. So you're saying that wasn't an open public meeting?
That's a courtroom.
Was that an open public meeting?
What, up there? That's an open public meeting. Yes, sir. It is.
This is City Hall.
Yeah. No, you showed up.
It's open to the public.
You showed
to
up.
Make this something what it is.
You showed up at Chandler, and you showed up at Chandler at the address there where the commission is, and you scared the staff. That's what you did because of the way you're dressed.
By asking for a public record?
By the way you're dressed, sir.
Sir, look at the sign right there. Face coverings recommended. And Thurston County, did you know, if you go down the road from where the commission's headquarters is, right? If you go down the road and circle around the road and you go to the Thurston County Courthouse, what does it say? Have you been into the courthouse?
I have been in the courthouse.
You know where that big...
I've been to that building.
It's about 2.5 feet wide, 4 feet tall. Big white and blue sign. That discusses COVID protocols. The whole county for all...
But what did you want?
Sir, I made that clear when I went there.
You wanted a public records request form, right? A PDF.
Look, I'll repeat it again, okay? Look, I appreciate your time. What I'm getting at is that when I went to the headquarters for the commission, I went there asking for a public records request form. The reason I did that is because I'd received tips and leads that some people had gone there before and couldn't do it. Now, as I'm sure you're well aware of, on the main floor is the Thurston County Courthouse.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, on certain days, Thurston County has that open. Obviously, they're doing court and other things that they're doing. Right. And then upstairs, there's 2 other offices. I forget the other one, but there's another one sort of across the way from the Transportation Commission.
Right.
So, when I went to go inside, the lady, I can't remember her name now. It wasn't Reema, it was a lady.
Yeah.
She had asked me, what do you need? I said, I'm here for a public records request. She was a little confused by that. That's fine because she went and got the executive director.
Right.
And when she got the executive director to get on there, she asked me, I said, I'm here for a public records request. They buzzed me in. Apparently that was unintentional because I heard that on the 911 call.
Right, I understand.
I went upstairs. I didn't hear any of the whatever they were saying because they just buzzed me in. It's kind of loud on the buzz. I went upstairs. It was very clear. I mean, you can see it on the video. I just knocked on the door very lightly and rung the doorbell. That is there right next to the door to the left. I said, I'm here for a public records request.
Okay.
That's when, well, apparently, I think, between when I entered through the door downstairs and got up to the door upstairs to the commission's office. I believe in that internascent period, she called 911 and she had police show up. So Olympia showed up and the court marshal showed up.
And I watched your conversation between the officer.
And it was totally calm.
Yeah, it was.
It was totally fine. What's frustrating is that when I get the 911 call audio and I hear her saying, he has some sort of a device.
Yeah.
We know in modern times, because of the way things happen, right? Saying a word like device could very easily get a response from police that is well in excess of what should have happened.
Well, it doesn't matter because once they call 911, police were going to respond anyway.
No, I get that, but imagine hyperbolically, if you had someone, like let's say the executive director said, there's a guy in the hallway with a rifle, right? You're going to get a totally different response than there's a guy here looking for a public records request. Right?
Well, all I'm saying is if you want to, I spent 20 years as a mayor and a council member. Okay. I'm no longer an elected official now. And if you want a public records, I've filled out many public records.
Sure.
I've actually had somebody hand me a public records request on the back of a napkin.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I understand the law. I've lived the Appearance of Fairness Doctrine, the Public Records Act, and the Open Public Meetings Act for 20 years of my life. So I understand how that works.
Okay.
I just think the way that you showed up was not something that the staff was capable of understanding. They were concerned by the way you were dressed.
Well,
perfectly.
And I'll make it clear why that's the case and why I think it was an unreasonable expectation for them to be concerned. A, I told them I was there for a public records request before I even got in the building. Right?
Have you filled out a PDR request?
No, that's part of what I'm here for.
Okay.
I'm just looking to get the form, fill it out, and then just hand it right back to you right there.
You take a form now. You can take a form? Okay. I'll take a form now. You have a PDR request form? That's what he wants. Okay.
I told them that 2, possibly 3 times. At the conclusion of that, and then having me buzzed in, I went up there, and again, as you saw on the story video, calmly rang the doorbell, knocked lightly, and said, I'm here for a public records request form. Hello? Doreen?
Hi. Hello.
Hey, what's
Can I help you?
Yeah, if you can help me with this, just trying to get a public records request form. The secretary, executive assistant, whatever that person is, then was profoundly alarmed because you could hear and see her on video saying, he's in the building, he's in the building. What is the alarm when I've told them at this point 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times total, that I'm there for a public.
We're going to leave unless you need anything from us.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Yep.
What's the alarm
Thank
at this
you,
point?
officer.
And even if, irrationally, let's just say irrationally they're fearful. Even if that's the case for a certain period of time, why then when the 2 court marshals who showed up and then the Olympia City Police Department officer showed up, why would she show that level of concern still?
I think because you upset her employee.
All right, everybody. Unfortunately, the very end of that interview with Commissioner Ratucci, if I'm saying that correctly, didn't work out. It unfortunately canceled, but I did get it on my body camera. So the quality is not going to be as good, but I still have it there. That's unfortunate. I still have the audio though. It was a good impromptu, just on the spot interview with the Vice Chair Commissioner for the Washington State Transportation Commission. So I'm going to have that available as well. Sorry that cut out there. But that's it here for today. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that all notifications bell so you can get my story right when it releases. Stories right when they release. You can follow me on X at I.A.M Free Auditing, on Facebook, Inland Auditing Media, and if you want to help keep my feet on the street, you can do so by going to the links in the description for Cash App and Venmo. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your continued support. It is greatly appreciated. I'll see you at the next location. Take care for now from Edmonds, Washington. Bye.
And she was dealing with that issue at the same time as well.
Okay, well, I mean, that's a fair response from you. I mean, you're thinking, what could it have been? But it sure would have been nice for the executive director to maybe then say, look, whatever the lady's name was, why don't you go in, have a 20-minute break in the back, I'll help this guy with his records request, and I would have been out of there. And in fact, to be honest, it would have been a really good story for the commission, of which I've published many good stories about government. There's great police officers, there's great government employees at every level, right? And there's bad ones too. Of course. So the idea is to say that would have been such a great low-hanging fruit story for the commission to just be like, and there's no evidence of anything bad because look at this. And as far as the mask, with COVID protocols and stuff, still asking government, City Hall is still asking people to wear masks inside. Thurston County, in all county buildings, they're asking people to wear masks. Right?
I understand that part. We had someone from the airport who came and testified before us who had a mask on.
Yeah, there you go. And I mean, it is what it is.
But it wasn't the mask that you're wearing. It's the type of mask that you're wearing, I think, is what causes concern with you. And the fact that you've got gear on.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is just a journalist vest. It's like a real nice stuff. Okay, fair enough.
I was a soldier for 20 years before I was an elected official, so I understand.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just so I can mount different cameras and stuff.
Right,
And,
I get you.
Obviously, most of the time I don't need 360s. When I'm working on homeless stories, I usually wear my 360s because people come up behind you.
You're working on homeless stories?
I have in the past.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't published any of those yet because I'm going to kind of make it part of a longer documentary kind of
I'm
thing.
going to give you my card.
Sure, I appreciate it. Thanks. Because one of the things I'm
the chairman of the Yakima Valley Conference of Governments, and we are actively involved in homeless programs and things of that nature. So if there's something that I can do in that aspect, please let me know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
I've been trying to get homeless issues taken care of in our valley for a very long time.
No, I totally appreciate that. The big thing I'm working on, it's probably a little tangential to just the general issue of like, hey, there's a homeless problem, right? Which we all know here in Washington State. But the pinpoint thing I'm working on right now is in certain cities, and I'm not going to say which ones yet. There appears to be a potential, and I want to be very clear about this, a potential that there are homes that have listed hundreds of registered voters to one home.
That's a problem.
And one of the issues with that, beyond the obvious one, like, hey, James, you got 127 people living in your house.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The main issue is if there are that many registered active voters at these homes, and they're dead center in the middle of these homeless problem areas, are those the people? Now, I want to be clear, I'm not saying they are because I haven't been able to get to that information yet.
You and I should talk sometime, but not on camera, because I really would love to share with you some things going on in Yakima Valley, but I really can't put it on camera right now for obvious reasons, because it affects organizations and things like that.
It does. It really does.
I have a real problem with the fact that, by my calculation, we spent close to $20 million on homeless in the last 10 years in Yakima County, and we still have the same number of families on the street. Something's wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's also another larger story I'm working on, which is tangential to that, which is the vacancy of government right now. I'm going to release a documentary next year about, it was completely unintentional. I didn't even start out to work on this, but that's how a lot of stories go.
I want to get to my car.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Yeah. I was working on other stories in Olympia, and then I started finding out 95% of the Capitol buildings, including their annexes, are 97% empty. No one's there. And when you attempt to go to petition your government to seek redress of grievances in person, did you know that the Department of Enterprise Services has now put up a private property manager as the go-between person between all citizens and all the government agencies in the DES headquarters building, which is DES, WATEC, and
my understanding, I understood a little bit of what you're saying there. My understanding was that the state leases those buildings or whatever?
That particularly do, and so now what they're doing is they've got the property manager, I forget the name of the property management company off the top of my head, but they've got that lady, Tawny Rainwater, running in between the agencies and citizens that come in.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so if you attempt to go in and say, hey, I need the petition to seek redress of grievances, a private citizen working for a private company decides whether you will or you will not.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. And I don't think people are seeing this for what it is, because if the only way you can do things is to email, they can just round file your email.
Here's the thing, right? A majority of the state agencies now have a majority of people working from home now. They're not even coming back.
You're absolutely correct.
Which means all that office space is vacant. Well, we're going to have to renegotiate those contracts to get smaller facilities for our different departments, or put multiple departments within. And of course, with the new governor coming in, all that's going to change. So
absolutely,
I don't know what's going to happen. But I am concerned about that. I mean, WashDOT, from the transportation side, the Secretary of Transportation has told us that a good 50% of his staff, his employees, are not coming back to work. Well, WashDOT has almost 8,000 employees, so
correct.
That's 4,000 people that aren't going to be back in Olympia working.
That's one of the main ones I had a problem with, and I'll tell you really quickly, because you seem to be on, I guess I'll say, the right side of the fence. I mean, the correct side of the fence. But
no worries, we're going this way.
Yeah, you bet. The other thing that I've been working on is this, which is labor and industries. So those people that are working at home work in a home environment, yet it's their work environment. We both know that if you're at work and you trip and fall because there's some hazard, Labor and Industries has a process of going through that to determine what the hazard was it appropriate. But what if you're making tea and you spill some water on yourself, scald yourself terribly, burn yourself terribly, while at home working for the state? How did the state evaluate the work environment to determine whether or not that work environment meets the labor and industry standards?
That's a good question.
And how, for example, if you're a clerk, I believe the current rate is 45 cents an hour, I believe, for L&I, because you're just sitting there sedentary, right?
Okay.
So if that's the case, but you're a jackhammer worker and it's $8.25 an hour, is the lady who's working at home for WashDOT actually in a 45 cents an hour environment? Or is because of the way she's working, her work environment, her kids, hot tea, whatever it is, she's got a bad floor, she trips all the time and falls, is it a $2.25 an hour environment? And if that's the case, how are they evaluating it? Well, the answer is they're not evaluating it, which means they're not collecting the correct taxes, yet they're getting the benefits of having those people be out of the office, because now they're going to have less HR issues and things like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's all coming together in this way where I'm still kind of on the periphery of it, trying to figure this out, but I'll tell you, those are all legitimate issues, and I don't think a lot of the state is really thinking about that at this point. And I think if you start digging into that, they're going to have to figure out, do we send them home? And the kicker, the last one I'll give you, is the state actuary is refusing to provide their teleworking policy.
Oh, that's strange.
It's very strange because the state actuary, that was a test public records process to see if they give other records. And now the House of Representatives and the Senate is being very, very weird about trying to get records from the actuary, because they're the buck stops here analysis agency, right? The final numbers come from them.
Yeah, they do come.
They evaluate everyone, and so they evaluate L&I. The reason they work for the legislature and not the Treasury is so that they can also evaluate the Treasury.
Right.
So it's some interesting stories that are kind of coming out here, but I really appreciate your time. I would be happy to set up a time with you to where we could talk in person off the record if you want to do that.
Yeah,
I totally appreciate where you're coming from. Okay. Some things just cannot be said on camera. Anyways, is it James or Jim?
Jim.
Jim. So I'm Steve. I actually have a pseudonym of Philip Lloyd for some of the work I do, but I'm Steve.
Gotcha, Steve.
Yeah, so it's really a great pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll reach out to you soon.
Yeah, please do.
All right, take care now. Have a good day.